श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम्। साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। Offering my most loving and prayerful pranams at Bhagawan's divine lotus feet, respected elders, and my dear sisters and brothers. At the very outset, I would like to start with a disclaimer that I am no Pandit or expert in Upanishads. I am here only to share whatever little understanding that I have received by virtue of listening to Bhagawan and his discourses over a period of 30 years. And today I will be sharing some practical insights from Taittiriya Upanishad. First question, why is it called Taittiriya Upanishad? There are two explanations, plausible explanations for that. One of them is that it is been the mantra drashta was a rishi by name Taittiriya, and therefore it is called Taittiriya Upanishad. Also, there is a mythological story associated with that. The story is slightly long, but just for our understanding, since we are racing against time, Sage Vaishampayana was taught the Yajurveda by Vedavyasa, and he imparted that knowledge to his disciple Yajnavalkya. For some reason, Yajnavalkya behaved differently with his co-students, and Sage Vaishampayana was upset with him, and he asked him to give back the wisdom that he had imparted to him. I know this sounds a little strange in present-day world, because generally when a teacher imparts knowledge to a student, right, it's a copy-paste. Right? There's nothing like, if you return it back to me, it no longer is there with you. Once it is there, it is there. But in those days, obviously, so Vaishampayana, when he ordered Yajnavalkya to give it back, symbolically it is said that he had vomited the entire wisdom that he had acquired from Sage Vaishampayana. And the disciples, other disciples who are there, they seem to have taken the shape of Taittiriya birds and then ate that vomit. Basically, they have imbibed the wisdom. These are all symbolic, obviously they are not literal. These are like, when we say people are bookworms, right? It is not literal, it is figurative. So, Yajnavalkya gave out all the wisdom, and disciples took the form of Taittiriya birds and then partook the wisdom, and that whatever wisdom that is currently available as Taittiriya Upanishad is from them. You would have heard of Ishavasya Upanishad and Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. So this sage Yajnavalkya, he goes and does Surya Upasana, and later becomes the mantra drashta for this Shukla Yajurveda. So that's how this name Taittiriya Upanishad has come. There is some speciality to Taittiriya Upanishad. It is from Krishna Yajurveda, because apparently the vomit that came out was dark in color, therefore it is called Krishna Yajurveda. And this is the Upanishad itself is towards the end of Taittiriya Aranyaka. So Taittiriya Aranyaka has got 11 chapters. This is 7th, 8th and 9th chapters of Taittiriya Aranyaka is the Taittiriya Upanishad. And among all the Upanishads, it's not that we have the swaras, complete swaras for all the Upanishads. Fortunately, Taittiriya Upanishad, why is it so popular means because you would have heard, I think the first day they were chanting some portions I heard in the Sairamesh hall, maybe in Kulwant hall they were chanting. Taittiriya Upanishad is the only Upanishad which has got all the swaras preserved, and therefore it is most chanted, and that's why it's popular as well. Also, Adi Shankaracharya had written his first bhashya on this particular Upanishad, so that also gives some idea of why is it so popular. In addition, most quotable quotes, right, that Bhagawan in his discourses quotes from Vedas and Upanishads, many of them are from this Upanishad. For example, Matru Devo Bhava, Pitru Devo Bhava, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, the bhajan that Swami sings, that is from Brahmanandavalli, Raso Vaisaha, and Yato Vacho Nivartante Prapin. So these are all very famous quotations that you would have heard from Bhagavan multiple times, and all these are from Taittiriya Upanishad. And the last Anuvaka of Shikshavalli, which we refer to as convocation mantra, that entire thing is from Taittiriya Upanishad. Broadly, the structure, as you can see there on the screen, there are 3 vallis. Vallis means basically chapters. Shikshavalli, Anandavalli or Brahmanandavalli, and Bhriguvalli. These are the 3 chapters which constitute the Taittiriya Upanishad. The Shikshavalli consists of 12 Anuvakas, and Shikshavalli and Bhriguvalli, the first and the third, they are supposed to be for Jnana Yogyata Siddhyartham Prapti. Meaning, the purpose of Shikshavalli and Bhriguvalli is to get eligibility for acquiring Brahmajnana. The teaching per se is only to prepare you for receiving the Atmajnana. But the teaching itself is not Atmajnana. Whereas the core teaching of the Brahma Vidya is there in the Anandavalli, Brahmanandavalli. So Shikshavalli and Bhriguvalli are preparation for you to understand Brahmajnana, and the essence of that is there in Brahmanandavalli. So 12, in terms of its size, volume, there are 12 Anuvakas of the Shikshavalli and 9 of Anandavalli and 10 Anuvakas of Bhriguvalli. So I will, since time is very short, I will focus only on those aspects. You will find that whatever I am telling, since I am picking concepts here and there for the want of time, you will not find that there is a, there's no flow to it. It's all disjointed because we are not going sequentially. So let's start with Shikshavalli. Shikshavalli deals with the following topics. It starts with in the previous 2 sessions, you would have heard that every Upanishad starts with a Shanti mantra, right? So for Shikshavalli, the Shanti mantra is Shanno Mitrasham Varunaha, which is a very common mantra that we chant. But not going into the specifics of the mantras, I am only trying to highlight only those portions which are maybe relevant to a general audience. So the Shanti mantra ends with Avatu Mam, Avatu Vaktaram. So the students are praying, and then before starting the class, they are saying, protect me, Avatu Vaktaram, protect my teacher. So specifically, if you see, why should we pray at all before learning? Most of the common reasons are obviously for any learning session, you need to have your all the organs that are involved in your learning, right? Whether it's the ears, the eyes, the hands, including the legs. You need the cooperation of all these, because if some for some organs the cooperation is required by participating in the learning process. Some organs cooperate by not participating. The legs are not supposed to participate in the learning process, because if they are constantly on the move, then you are not stable. Whereas your ears, your memory, everything should be focused on what the vaktaram, whatever the teacher is teaching. So the devatas who are there, Mitra, Varuna, Nutashimvara, Aryama. All these are devatas who are presiding, Adhisthana devatas of all these organs. Therefore, we need to pray to them that may all these protect me. Protect me means obviously we are spending time, energy, and effort. So, in order for this session to be fruitful, we are praying to the Lord. Also, Pradibandha Nivarakam means there are no obstacles. That is why we say Shanti, Shanti, Shanti three times after every mantra, so that there are no obstacles because of yourself. That means you are not feeling, stomach ache or headache or loss of focus, or there are no mosquitoes around which are disturbing you, or some family emergency suddenly you have to go. All these are obstacles which come, which can disrupt the process. So why should we pray for the teacher also? Because if you have to learn and the teacher is not in the best of his health at that time, obviously again your learning process you would have wasted. It's a wasted opportunity. Therefore you pray for yourself and you pray for the teacher as well, because he also needs to recall what his guru has taught him and then pass it on to you. Therefore we pray for oneself and for the teacher. Normally, you would have heard in the previous two sessions that Karma Yoga is actually a preparation for Jnana Yoga. It's like unless you do graduation, you can't do post graduation, right? So, if you want to study something, there is a prerequisite or eligibility. So, the karma is at three levels: Kayika karma, which with the body, Vachika karma, which is with the speech, and Manasa karma, which is with the mind. So, at these three levels, karma is done. In English, when we say action, usually we refer to only physical action. We don't categorize speech and thoughts as action. But whenever we say karma, karma yoga is at all levels: body, mind, and speech. So this there are the purpose of any of these karma is chitta shuddhi. That means for purification of the chitta. The second purpose is chitta ekagrata. It is to focus our mind. So seva, if you do kayika karma, it you get rid of your ego and your chitta gets purified. But vachika karma, that means whatever you do with your speech. For example, you have been chanting Vedam. So Veda Parayana is considered one sadhana because when you chant Vedam, though you may not understand the meaning, it it purifies. You will get. So there are two words that we need to understand. One is called Veda Adhyayanam, and second one is called Veda Mimamsa. Veda Adhyayanam means whatever you have memorized, you keep avriti, you keep repeating, do a parayanam. And Veda Parayanam is considered the most efficacious and the most meritorious, primarily because it is directly coming from Shruti. It is directly come from the source, which is the divine. And it has been revealed through rishis who are selfless. Therefore, compared to a stotram or any other Ramayana Parayanam, Bhagavata Parayanam, Veda Parayanam is considered very, very meritorious. But of course, the phalam, what is the result? Suppose you have been chanting Vedam for several years. How much punya did you acquire? Can you quantify? Obviously, no. We know that it's meritorious. Is it this much or this much, or is it proportional to the time or the kind of mantras I chant? It's not there. So these are called adrishta phalam. Adrishta phalam means it is invisible. It is there, but is invisible. Whereas Veda Mimamsa means a reverential approach towards understanding what is there in Vedas. For example, in these sessions, we are trying to understand the essence of Vedas. That process is called Veda Mimamsa. Mimamsa is to understand the meaning and essence. That has got Drishta Phalam. Drishta Phalam means there is a visible benefit for that. What is a visible benefit? That is like instant coffee. The If you understand the concept, what is being told right now, you have already got the benefit because the understanding is there right now and you can practice. Either it will give you knowledge, it will give you joy. So understanding the meaning of Veda, the benefit is instantaneous. Right? So that is called Veda Mimamsa. So it also the this Shikshavali deals with how we should do that, how we should chant Vedam. Right? You would have all of you, those who are chanting Vedam, know that there are certain anybody and everybody should not cannot chant Vedam. It's not like singing bhajans or any other sadhana or any other skill, because there is a lot of demand on the accuracy of Vedam. So, what are those? The aspects of chanting that Vedam, because if Veda Parayanam has to give punya, then it has to be done in the prescribed manner. So, what are those aspects? Varna, Svaraha, Matra, Balam, Sama, Santanaha. You would have read in that Shruti book, right? So, Akshara Shuddhi, Matra Shuddhi, Swara Shuddhi, etc. So, all these are covered in Taittiriya Upanishad in Shikshavali. And you know, for students, I am saying that parents and school children, they usually, if they are given an option to um, choose a foreign subject, right, to choose a third language or something like that, though Sanskrit is offered in schools, many of the parents and students choose a foreign language. In fact, I was browsing what is the most common for languages that children choose, either in Bangalore or India. They choose either, most sought after French, German, Spanish, etc., etc. But the unfortunate part of it is Swami himself has said that Sanskritam na shwasa. Sanskrit is like my breath. And all the Upanishads and Vedas and Vahini Swadhyaya and Upanishad Pravahini, Ramayana, Mahabharata, Bhagavata, you take any scripture, entire thing is in Sanskrit language. So if our entire culture, wisdom, etc., is all encrypted in this language called Sanskrit, not having even a working knowledge of that is detrimental for your own spiritual pursuit. There, I know of many people who regret. Most of us also, after 40s, 50s, when we start doing all these sadhanas, we have that feeling that maybe we should have started learning Sanskrit little earlier. So this is just an appeal to all the parents, Balvika's parents or children. They should sensitize, or they should realize the importance that if Swami has advocated that we should read all these scriptures and scriptural study, um, and and the opportunities available, not utilizing it because of ignorance of the significance of that language, is will be very unfortunate. So it is the most scientific language. It is not a dead language. People say Sanskrit is mrita bhasha. Actually, it is a amrita bhasha. It's not a dead language, it's an immortal language. All Vedas and Ramayana, Mahabharata are all immortal. As long as the hills and the sky is there, these scriptures will stay. So the kind of systematization of the alphabet which is there in Sanskrit is not there in any other language. Just to give an example, there is an entire literature called Niroshtya Kavyam. Oshtya means lips, right? There an entire body of literature where the structure of Sanskrit is arranged in such a way that it is categorized according to the body part, right? Pa, pha, ba, bha, ma, all come from the lips. So Niroshtya means without using lips, an entire kavya has been written. That means there are no pa, pha, ba, bha, ma in that. For example, if one of the reasons is devotion, for example, Rama is there. I don't want to, pollute the name of sacred name of Rama by using my saliva and the lips. So I will say Dasharatha Raja Nandana Charitra. I have not used my lips. Dasharatha Raja Nandana Charitra. It is Ramayana only. You can imagine this is only a title. An entire kavyam has been written without the use of Papa Babama. It is a literary feat, gymnastics altogether. All this is possible because of the power hidden in the Sanskrit language. There are a number of upasanas which are also mentioned in this. I've written here that there are 5 Vedic upasanas which are there here. These Vedic upasanas are very abstract in nature, but they're like Samhitopasana, Vyahriti Upasana, Hiranyagarbha, Pankta Brahma, etc. These are not practiced nowadays. Whenever we say Upasana, like for example during Dashara we say Devi Upasana, we do Devi Upasana and we put a Kalasham, etc. there. During Shivaratri we worship Shivalingam, right? And we for Devi we worship lamp as this one. Lakshmi is worshipped in cow. Or Lord Ganesha, before starting any puja, we make a small turmeric Ganesha, and avahana of Ganesha into that. And after the puja is over, Udvasana, right? Upasana means it is a process by which we are training our mind to see a cosmic phenomena, something which is beyond our imagination, or it is far bigger or far abstract that our mind cannot grasp. You take an object in front of you which is physical and concrete and invoke that concept or that tattva into that object. That is called upasana. Nikrishta vastuni utkrishta darshanam. That is why, how can a small turmeric, this one, hold Ganesha? Ganesha is so big. How we are invoking him to a small turmeric thing. Before that only we would have made rasam or sambar and put the same turmeric. Right? Now we are taking the same turmeric and putting and then making Ganesha and say, now you are invoked into this. We understand these by all these practices that it is not, we are training our mind to go beyond physical. We know that physically that size and this size doesn't match. For example, if India is there, how do you show respect to Bharat on Independence Day? Entire India, you have to go and salute. No, Bharat is a huge land. You can't salute. So what do? You hoist a flag and then say this flag represents India, and then show respect to the flag. It is equivalent. So similarly, a number of upasanas now presently a number of rupas. Rupas means forms like Rama, Krishna, all these various deities that we have in our Hindu pantheon. We invoke the same divinity in each of these. That is also called upasana. There are Ganapati Upasana, Upasakas, Devi Upasakas, Muruga Upasakas and all that. We are worshipping the same Brahman, but invoking in that particular form. Similar Upasanas are there in Taittiriya Upanishad in various forms. Apart from that, there are japa sadhanas, and in Karma Yoga, as I mentioned, Karma Yoga consists of not only Pancha Mahayajnas, which have been talked about. Apart from that, there are Sadgunas and Sadbhavana. Sadgunas means virtues, Daivi Sampatti, and Sadbhavana means what is the attitude that we should have in our life. Even those have been covered. One famous thing that is there in Taittiriya Upanishad is this mantra, which all of us are already familiar. Like, Yas Chandasam Rishabho Vishwarupaha Chando Vyodhyamritat Sambhabhuva. This is chanted before Medha Suktam. Why is that Swami had prescribed Omkaram? Every day morning we chant Omkaram, right? So, what is the importance of Omkaram and what is the origin of Omkaram means? Yes, Chandasam Rishabho Vishwarupaha. It is Chandasam means Vedas. Apparently, it is Lord Brahma churned the Vedas. The Vedas are basically Rig and churned it and extracted three: Rig, Yajus, and Sama. Right? From those three, because of the he knew that with passage of time, nobody will have time for reading all these three. So each of this has been condensed into one line of Gayatri mantra. Tatsaviturvaredyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodaya. Rig Yajus Sama. Again, to chant even this is not there. He churned it further and then condensed it further into Bhur Bhuvas Subaha. Further, he condensed that into A, U, Ma. And then Omityekaksharam Brahma. Akara, Ukara, Makara iti. So, Om is the concentrate essence of Gayatri Mantra, which is the concentrate essence of the three Vedas, which has originated from the divine. That is why Om is considered as so sacred. And this um, Upasana, where Omkara is considered as like a container in which there is Brahman. Right? If you are invoking Om, along with that Brahman also is invoked. Because Brahman is Nirguna and Gunatita, we need something concrete to invoke that Brahman. This mantra actually glorifies that kind of a upasana where we invoke the Brahman into the container called Om. So if I say, can I have a water bottle? Obviously, somebody is not going to bring only the water bottle, right? Without the water. He'll bring the water. So water automatically comes along with the water bottle. If somebody is coming from, your guest is coming, if your son comes and says, car has come, it doesn't mean that car is coming. It means the guest has come. So we are using Omkaram as this sadhana to invoke Brahman. And in this Amritasya Devadharano Bhuyasam, we are also saying for us to do that upasana, the preparation that we require is Shariram me vicharshanam. That means my physical body should be fit. Jihva me madhumattama. May my for me to do this upasana, it is not enough if we just do Omkar upasana, but rest of the time my tongue speaks harshly. We should have a honeyed tongue, sweet. Swami says in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Anudvega karam vakyam satyam priya hitam chayat. We should not, if we speak, it should be so sweet that it does not cause anxiety or agitation in anyone. Softly we should speak. Satyam, Priyam, and Hitam. These are the three words which Swami also emphasizes. It should be truthful. Priyam, it should be sweet. Hitam, it should benefit the other person. That is how we should speak. Karnabhyam Bhuri Vishruvam. Whatever we hear, we should hear Bhuri Vishruvam completely. Those which are Purnam, which is basically scriptures. May my ears hear good things. And here, whenever we say good, it is obviously we're talking about all good things. The repository are the scriptures. So may we hear scriptural um, teachings. Brahmana koshosi medhaya pihitaha. The Brahman is actually covered by medha. Medha means here we are talking about, in this context, medha means worldly worldly knowledge. So in this category, there are so many people, and everybody knows that such an event is there. Why is it that they are not inspired to listen? Not that they are not intelligent; they are very much intelligent. They know so many other worldly things. It is just that the thing is covered by the sheath of worldly knowledge. So we don't want that to happen. We don't want that to be our intelligence to be covered by worldly knowledge. Our worldly wisdom should not come in the way of our upasana. Right? Shrutam me gopaya. May whatever I hear, may I retain. Sometimes whatever we hear, within few minutes we forget, because it is proportional to. But when we listen to so many other movie songs or movie dialogues, etc., we can repeat instantly, right? Immediately afterwards. Why? Because it is proportional to the amount of focus and interest that we have in that particular subject at that point in time. So we are praying that may Omkara, the Devata, grant me that that Shakti or the strength to retain whatever scriptural things I am listening. The other one entire Anuvaka, which is called Swadhyaya Prashamsa. Prashamsa means praise. Swadhyaya means whatever we are doing. We have Karnataka state had initiated Vahini Swadhyaya. Swadhyaya means study. Swa Adhyaya means
Swa does not mean self-study. It is study of the self. So that means something that actually is, we are studying our own self. That is Swadhyaya, for our own redemption, to know who we are. That is Swadhyaya. So there's a interesting, we are all aware that this, Panchamaha Yajnas, one of them is Rishiranam. No, Devaranam is there, and Pitruranam is there. Um, Rishiranam is there, Manushya Yajnam is there, and Bhuta Yajnam is there. Why are they called Yajnas? Because by performing them, it is our mandatory duty to perform them. It is not an option. Rinam itself, the word Rinam itself means that we have already benefited from that. And therefore, now it is a payback time. If you have borrowed something from someone, it is not optional for you to return. Right? You have to return at some point in time. That is why we are all born with debts. These are all debts that we owe to all these people, because by virtue of being born itself, we owe a debt to our parents and their parents and their parents. It goes on. Why? Because if they were not there, you don't exist. Therefore, we have a this, and whatever knowledge our parents have, or whatever stories and scriptures which are guiding our life, somebody had led a very austere life to reveal all those truths to us. Therefore, we have a obligation towards our rishis, Rishirinam. Like that, Panchamahayajnas have, that is the reason why Panchamahayajnas have come. Now, among all these Panchamahayajnas, which one is the best? And apparently, Sat, the one of the techniques that is used in scriptures is anything that is very important. No, it keeps, the scripture keeps on repeating it. So you will find one, this in this Anuvaka, Satyancha Swadhyaya, Ritancha Swadhyaya Pravachanecha, Satyancha Swadhyaya Pravachanecha, Tapascha Swadhyaya Pravachanecha, Damascha Swadhyaya Pravachanecha. So after everything that you should do, he'll again remind you that Swadhyaya Pravachanecha, Swadhyaya Pravachana. Swadhyaya means learning scriptures, Pravachana means talking or teaching about scriptures so that for others' benefit. Now, Satya, Tapa, Dama, Shama, Agnayascha, Agnihotra means all the rituals that you do at home, all the Vedic rituals that are prescribed. Among all these, Panchamahajnas, which is the best, means the Upanishad pronounces its verdict, saying that Swadhyaya and Pravachana, Tadhi Tapaha, Tadhi Tapaha. It ends saying that yes, it is only Swadhyaya and Pravachana which are the best. That is how the Upanishad concludes. That actually should be an eye opener. Why is it best? Why is Swadhyaya and Pravachana best? There are so many other activities that are there, right? It is because how will you know what to do and what else activities are there unless you study? If you can study this, in that it will be written. Suppose you want to know that Panchamahayajnas exist. How do you know without studying? So the first step is, unless you do Swadhyaya, either study or listen to Pravachana, you will not even know that such a thing exists. That is the reason why Shravanam is important. Shravanam is the first step both in Navavidha Bhakti as well as in Vedanta Jnana. Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam. So the starting point for whether it is Bhakti Marga or Jnana Marga, it is Shravanam only. So that is the importance of Swadhyaya. Now, one point that all of us need to know the distinction is, all of us know that there are two bhagas, Veda Purva and Veda Anta. Right? Purva and Anta. This entire Upanishad Pravahini is all about Veda Anta. The two parts which are there. Veda Purva Bhaga, first part is all about Karma Kanda, rituals. The second half, which is Vedanta, is all about Jnana Kanda. Right? So the first part is about Dharma Shastra. Dharma Shastra is in your life, from a brahmachari or grihastha or vanaprastha, what are your duties and what all you should do. That all is covered in Dharma Shastra. Whereas after you go through this entire, so Dharma Shastra, when you are in the Brahmachari stage, you will be taught theory. Basically, student life, everyone is taught theory. You should learn this, you should learn this, etc. Dharma Shastra is common. It is like um, irrespective of whether you take commerce or I mean, in olden days, example, if you take, if you are kings, you are taught maybe archery or sword fighting, etc., etc. If you are a Brahmin, you are taught something else. If you are a Vaishya, you are taught business. If you are a Shudra, you are taught some skill, whatever you are supposed to do. But all of them are taught one thing common, which is Dharma Shastra. It is like educational human values. Commerce student, science student, and you can, that is your professional this one. But human values, because everybody is a human, that is a common subject. So Dharma Shastra is a common subject for all at when you are a brahmachari or a student, when you are pursuing your student life. So all the theory that you learn, that this is how you are expected to um, lead life, these are the principles, these are the values, these are the rituals, these are your obligations, all that theory is taught in the student days. Once the student period is over, at that, even if you talk about all the theory is taught in the student stage. But when is the practicals? Practicals is once for you to apply during a student, you are only interacting with your co-students or maximum one or a few teachers. Beyond that, is your scope is not there, right? You have not really applied. There is no platform for you to apply all the learning that you have learned. Therefore, the next stage, which is grihastha ashrama, once you get married and get into family life and go into society, do a job and perform your obligations in society, that is when you will realize that all the things that you have learned in in your gurukula or during student days, now is the time to apply all of them. So grihastha and vanaprastha are for applying practicals, and finally brahma sannyasa is for brahma shastra. So when in sannyasa, again you start with vedanta, again learning starts. So application practical starts in grihastha and vanaprastha. That brings us to the final anuvaka of Shikshavalli, where the Veda Dhyayana is over, which means the students have learned how to chant Vedam. So now the Guru is saying, uh, you have completed, we usually refer to this as convocation mantra. You have completed your education theory. Now, before you actually transition into your next ashrama, there are a set of guidelines or instructions, or even calls it an orders, that are being given by the Guru to the disciples. These, all of us would have heard this mantra whenever there's a convocation in Puttaparthi on 22nd November. Before the convocation begins, this is the mantra that is chanted, right? Veda manuchyacharyo vante vasina manushasti. So, having learnt all the Vedas, having taught all the Vedas, the Guru is telling the pupils, now, therefore, what you should do, Satyam Vada, Dharmam Chara, speak the truth and follow Dharma, your respective Dharma. You see the language that is the Guru is using. In Upanishad, no, because it's part of Shruti. Shruti Raja Samhita. Raja Samhita means Shruti's tone will be that of a king. Purana Mitra Samhita. The language of the Purana, so the stories, is like a friend telling you some story. It's a little more informal. Kavyam Kanta Samhita. Like kavya or a poetry is like the sweet words of a spouse. So you can that will be the tone. So the tone of a king will always be commanding. If he wants water, He will not say, "May I have a glass of water, please?" That won't be the tone of the king. He will just say, "The water has to come." It is understood. So it'll be the tone will be a order. Here, the tone that is being used is Satyam Vada. It is not a request. It is a order. Why an order? Because something which you have to do for your own good. There's no question of me requesting. A mother, when he tells a child, don't 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 touch that PowerPoint, then because it is dangerous for that child if he puts his face into an electrical PowerPoint. So he says the tone will be don't touch as an order. That order is to protect the child. So Satyam Vada Dharmam Chara Swadhyayan Ma Pramadaha. That means never give up the study of Swadhyaya, Vedas, scriptures. You can imagine in the instructions that Guru is giving, never ever leave study of scriptures. It should become an integral part of our life. Acharyaya priyam dhanamahritya prajatantum ma vyavachesi. Before he leaves, he is supposed to pay an amount to the acharya. Why? Because he has completed his education. As a token of gratitude, he has to give Guru Dakshina. Why is Guru expecting? Is it that Guru is expecting a Guru Dakshina? No, it doesn't matter. But it is in the Shishya's interest to give the Guru Dakshina because as part of his duty. In olden days, education was always free. And after the education is over, as a mark of gratitude, the student used to go and demonstrate his learning in, either to a king or somebody who is a big or a wealthy person, get whatever in return and offer it to the Guru. Why? The Guru does not use it. The Guru uses that money for maintaining the Gurukulam so that more students like that can study. This is how the education and the culture can spread. So, do that. Prajatantum ma vyavachesihi. Never ever discontinue your lineage, which means don't remain unmarried. It is your duty to marry and beget children. Why? Again, for the continuation of the lineage. It's part of your duty. Satyanna pramaditavyam, dharmanna pramaditavyam, kushalanna pramaditavyam. Never err from truth, never fall from duty, never overlook your own welfare. Even here it is says, you should take care of yourself and your family. Taking care of yourself, you cannot say just because to go and serve the society, you cannot ignore your own welfare because this body also it is your duty to take care of the instrument that has been gifted to you. Many people in the name of service and sadhana etc., they spend most of the time outside and no don't take care of either themselves or their family. I remember once Swami advised one sevadal coordinator, one lady sevadal coordinator. She said, we are organizing some Narayan Seva, this camp, that camp. Swami said, first give tea to your husband. He's been waiting and then you have not been giving him in time. So it is not that at the cost of that you do this. No, duty is duty. Kushalanna pramaditavyam. Never overlook your family. Bhutyainna pramaditavyam. Swadhyaya pravachanabhya na pramaditavyam. Bhutyainna pramaditavyam. You should never neglect prosperity also. You should earn a lot of wealth. Why you have to earn a lot of wealth? There is nothing wrong in earning wealth. Why? A good person earns wealth so that he can benefit someone who is in need of it. Deva Pitra Karyabhyam na pramaditavyam. Don't neglect, swerve from your duty towards whatever we saw, Deva and Pitru Karyas. That is also one order. Matru Devo Bhava, Pitru Devo Bhava, Acharya Devo Bhava, Atithi Devo Bhava. Our understanding of these four statements is mother is God, father is God, Guru is God, and Atithi is God. Actually, that is not, the tone of it is not that. It says, may the mother be to you as God. Bhava means for you, may the mother be God. Because the mothers and fathers, they are also human beings only. They may have a lot of arishit vargas, kama, krodha, lobha, and she's doing a lot of wrong things or he's doing a lot of wrong things. How can he be God? We are not referring to that personality. We are referring to, for you, since mother and father have been the cause of your existence, to you, you are supposed to treat them as God. You are not there to judge what that entity is doing. I talked about upasana, right? Upasana, you are not looking at the turmeric or the stone, what it contains. So for you, mother and father have been the cause of your existence. Therefore, for you, they are God. You are supposed to consider them as God. Yanyanavadyani karmani tan sevade. Don't let all your actions be blemishless. That means should be, when you are in a society, you should be a role model, which means you should, all your actions should be such that nobody can point a finger at that. You must follow only those virtuous actions that are irreproachable and not others. How to behave when wise and elderly people come? Should always keep quiet and silent. Keep your mouth shut when somebody, a wise or a teacher, is speaking. When somebody comes to give a satsang or something in your this one, you should not start talking about your own personal life and then say, I did this, I went to Shirdi, I went to Padrinath, I did that, I did. The precious time that is there, the time of the Guru is wasted. You are wasting that opportunity. So, specific instruction is being given. Keep quiet and then listen. Offer them a suitable asana and listen to them. Since we are a charitable organization, these aspects may be relevant. How to give? Whenever you do dana, how should you give? Shraddhaya deyam. You should give it with faith. What is the faith that you should have? The faith that you should have is, if I give, it is for my benefit that I am giving. You should have that faith that you are the one who is the beneficiary of the entire thing, not him. He may get only food or he may get some clothes or whatever you are giving. That is a material thing that he is getting. You should have the faith that whatever you are got by giving is for your own good, and not, you are not doing a favor to the other person. Then you will not have the feeling of doership. Ashraddhaya adeyam. Don't give without Shraddha. Even the reverse specifically is telling, never do anything with Ashraddha. Shriya Deyam. When you give it in plenty, whatever you have. We know that story of Shirdi Baba, right? One devotee comes and seeks Brahmajnana, and then a wealthy devotee. But when Shirdi Baba is looking for, 2 annas or something like that, he doesn't volunteer to give. So, if you have a lot of wealth and what you give is not proportional to that, no, then again you are the loser. The person who is receiving will not be loser. You are the loser. Hriya Deyam. You should feel shy or be modest when you are giving. That, Ayo, I am able to give only this much. If only I had more, I would have given even more. Bhiya Deyam. Some concern you should have. Some fear also, not even concern. You should have some fear while giving. Why you should fear? Because dana is considered one of the nitya karmas, which means it's like paying tax, no? If you don't pay tax, which you are supposed to pay, obviously you should be afraid, no? You're not filed your government, you owe the tax to the government. Similarly, this dana you owe to the society. Therefore, if you don't do it, you should be afraid. Samvida Deyam. Also, here we should be specific that in this very hall, I remember when Swami started the water project, there was a district from Andhra who had come, and they also bought some tankers to distribute water, and they wanted to send one tanker to one direction. And I remember exactly same place they were sitting. Swami stood standing here. They told Swami, we got the tankers. Swami looked outside and said, 4 directions are there, only 3 tankers are there. Where is the fourth one? They said Swami will, they're hoping that Swami will give the fourth tanker. Then Swami said, no, Bangaru, you should not do charity by borrowing from somebody. Yatha Shakti. How much ever you have, not less, not more also. That is why they didn't specify any amount. How much ever you can, to the best of your ability, Yatha Shakti, you are supposed to do charity. The last instruction in this set is when you have a doubt regarding performing any action, how you should go about. Shruti, Smriti, and Shishtachara. Shruti is the highest reference that is taken. If it is mentioned in Shruti, then that is like Supreme Court verdict. Smriti, even if some stories, Puranas, Smriti and Puranas are written by rishis. So we can say that, oh, Krishna did this, or Yudhishthira did this, or Dronacharya did this, but that's what the Shastra says. Should I do what he did, or should I go by what the Shastra says? The Guru says, follow whatever the Shastra says, not what even I say, because even the Guru can have some limitations in his personal conduct. So if there is a contradiction between uh, Shastra, which is Smriti, Shruti, Smriti, and Shishtachara. Shishtachara is, if I don't know Shastras, I don't know Shruti, I don't know these stories, but I know some good person is there who is a very dharmic person. If he does, then if he says, then maybe I can do. So between these three, which one should I follow? Always, between, if there is a contradiction between any of these three, follow the Shruti. Generally, we have a tendency saying that, Vishwamitra succumbed to Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Matsarya. When such a great rishi himself is succumbing, I think it's okay for me also. If Yudhishthira played gambling, and then or Satya Harishchandra sold his wife, anything wrong? If I do, you should not take whatever you want from this one. So whenever in any shastra or any story, the instruction is, you should always take the good part of it. Dronacharya, was it right for him to take from Ekalavya his thumb means? Don't see the Dronacharya side of the story. You are supposed to take the Ekalavya part of the story. You should have that much of loyalty to your guru. Why did Rama send Sita to forest? Why did Krishna have so many wives? Krishna danced on snake. Can you dance? After, if you can lift a mountain and dance, etc., then you can compare. Why, if he did, why can't I do that? Don't compare selectively. So the the last word on this is, if there is a doubt in your mind, go to etatra brahmanaha sammarishnaha yukta ayuktaha. Find a person who is there in your this one, who is impartial and who has dharmic way of life, and approach them, and whatever they say, you follow. These are the instructions. There are other two vallis, which are Bhriguvalli and Anandavalli. As I said, Bhriguvalli and Anandavalli deal with Panchakosha Viveka, meaning how do we understand that we are made of 5 koshas, and slowly, by process of elimination and thinking, I arrive at the conclusion that I am not these 5 sheets: Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya. I am something which is beyond all that. And once I get that understanding, the Anandavalli says, you will get a bliss that is equivalent to, when we refer to the word Brahmananda very often. Brahmananda is the highest Ananda. So, Anandavalli gives an example of one person who is in his youth, who has the entire earth as his possession, as his wealth. He is in his youth and complete health. If the bliss that he is enjoying is 1 unit, then he describes how 100 times that is of that of Manushya Gandharvas, 100 times that of is of Gandharvas, and like that he describes till Indra, Brihaspati, and Brahma, the Brahmananda, 10 to the power of 20 times the Ananda that this human Ananda is experiencing. That kind of Brahmananda you can also experience if you identify yourself. The Jivatma identifies with Paramatma. This is the general theme of both Bhrigavalli and Anandavalli deal with this understanding of Panchakoshas. I think we are um, always lose the race against time. So, and the referee is here. So any questions time is there, sir? If there are, if there is anything that related to this, you have any questions? Any questions related to whatever has been told? I'll quickly then summarize what Bhriguvalli says. Bhriguvalli is actually the process of self-discovery of a student, Bhrigu, and how he discovers that with the help of his father, who himself is a guru. His father himself is the guru. So um, he's something like the ideal student, right? Who who knows that he doesn't know. You know, the best thing about a student is first thing he should know that he does not know. That is the starting point. He knows not that he knows not. If he does not know that he does not know, then he will not ask anybody. The first step is he should know that he does not know. At least in this case, he says, I don't know who is Brahman. Second thing is, if I don't know, if we don't know Brahman, what we'll do? Immediately, chat GPT, if you tell who is Brahman, it will give the answer. Or YouTube, Brahman. And then 5 minutes you listen, this only Brahman. Over. He did not do that. He actually found out who is the right person whom he should go and approach. Right? So he knew that he was ignorant. He also knew, he identified someone, and he went and approached him, not like a father. He did not go and say, Daddy, Daddy, tell me what is Brahman. You have any idea? He didn't do that. Because when you are approaching regarding a subject like this, the first thing is humility. Adhihi Bhagavo Brahmeti. O Lord, O Master, teach me what is Brahman. That is a quality of a student. So that he goes, and then the rest is the best thing about the teacher also is the teacher also does not give a straight answer. This is again one of the very unique approaches of Upanishad, where the conversation between the disciple and the guru is the guru does not give ready-made answers. Because if you give ready-made answers, it is not in the interest of the Shishya. The guru only prompts him and says, this is the direction in which you should go. He gives him clues so that if the disciple puts in the time, energy, and effort in terms of, so what the Bhrigu recommends, Satapo tapyata, tapo brahmeti. Tapo brahmeti means tapas is Brahman. How can tapas be Brahman? It is like saying money is everything. Means money is everything. No, it means money can get you everything. So he is telling tapas is Brahman means through tapas you can attain anything. Brahman also you can attain. So do tapas. Here what is tapas mean? Tapas may have so many different this one. If you go and sit, close your eyes, that does not become tapas. You close and then how many ever years you meditate, who am I, who am I, who am I? You are never going to get an answer. You can try. Why? Because that vichara or the tapas has to be atma vichara, should be with the help of a guru and a shastra vakya. There has to be some alambanam, some support you should take of shastra. So you ask, if you want me to find out Brahman, how should I find it? Give me some clue. Then he says, okay, I will give you a definition from which the creation has come, through which the creation is preserved. Yatova imani bhutani jayante, yena jatani jivanti, yat prayanti abhisham vishanti. After the entire creation is over, into which it resolves. If it satisfies this criteria, that entity is called Brahman. This is a clue that I am giving. Go and think about it. And that is how he starts his self-discovery of what is, okay, maybe this body, Annamaya, is, there's a very interesting definition of food. Maybe it will be useful for all of us. One of the, if you have to understand Annamaya, what is our definition of food? Whenever we talk about food, what is our definition? That which living beings eat, right? that which living beings eat is food. The definition that Upanishad gives is adyate ticha bhutani, that which eats, that which is eaten. That which is eaten, we know it is food. We are saying it is Upanishad is defining food as that which eats, which means who is eating here? All of us are eating, no? So technically speaking, all of us are also food. So first step is this entire body. Why is it? Why are we also called food? Because this body which is there, no, where did it come from? When it was born, it was this much. How did it become this big? By eating food only. So that means this entire thing is made of food. Where did the body come first of all? It came from father and mother, which means the whatever the uh, cells that have come from both of them, they are made of food. So when you are born, it was food. So you're born of food. Then after being born in mother's womb, how did that cell become a big body? By food only. So that entire thing, our entire body is made of food. So this entire thing, which is now, I am food. What am I eating? I am eating apple. What is that? Food. So who is eating whom? Food is eating food. I am not eating anything, and you can eat whatever you want. Food is eating food, and eat whatever you want. Food is eating food. Why? How come we are food? Because after we die, what happens? We become manure. Who eats that? Who uses that manure? The plant. Which one? The apple plant, which we ate. No. Now that will eat you. The plant will eat you and create one apple. So you have become apple now. Technically, it's correct. Now you have become apple. Who will eat that? Your son, your grandchildren will eat. I'm telling, in some sense, this is a cycle. So at an Annamaya Kosha level, food is that which is eaten and that which eats. If we have this understanding, then you can technically say this Annamaya Kosha, it is continuously changing. Right? So this is one sheath. Because it is continuously changing, it does not um, uh, comply with the principle of changelessness. It cannot be karanam. Therefore, I am not this body. Then he says, maybe pranamaya kosha, but that is also fluctuating. Our prana shakti inside is fluctuating. It is also changing. So I am not that. Maybe I am manomaya. So after every step, he goes back to check with his father. Father says, you are in the right direction, Guru. In this case, Guru, you are in the right direction, proceed. He only says proceed. He doesn't give the answer. Why? Because if he gives the answer, ready-made answers you should never give children. Should encourage them to learn or discover. The process of self-discovery alone will give clarity in their head. Otherwise, he will remember what you said the answer without understanding why you said it. This is how even we have to encourage children the process of self-discovery. So he eliminates one by one Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya, and then says, I am none of these sheets. I am the one who is the changeless, which is enlivening all these sheets. So this process of uh, Panchakosha Vichara happens, and then one useful tips for us is in this Bhriguvali is Annam Nanindyat. Never, it is blasphemous to actually comment on food. I don't like this food. That is what is actually sustaining you. You cannot speak in a ninda tone. Annam na parichakshita. You should never reject food. That doesn't mean that whatever anybody gives, I accept. No, that's not what it means. You should never waste or throw away food. Annam bahukurvita. Should always cook and ensure that plenty of food is available. Why? This is more in terms of our obligation towards Atithi. When someone comes, if they feel that we don't have enough food, they'll be embarrassed to stay in our house. That is why we should always keep plenty. And we should never, anyone who seeks shelter and stay, we should never um, uh, turn them away. That is also one of our duties. So some of these vratas are prescribed just in terms of a discipline in our life, so that when we follow these vratas along with these upasanas, it is a preparatory step for us to understand the final fact which is there in Anandavalli, which defines Brahman as Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahma. That is the definition that Anandavalli gives. For us to understand and reach, not simply understand intellectually, but to experience that statement, Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahma, this process of systematic inquiry of the scriptures is required, which is there in this Taittiriya Upanishad. I think I have taken more time than this allotted. Thank you. Sairam.
Sri Sairam. Thank you so much, Chandrasekhar brother. I'm sure many of us have had lots and lots of revealing moments in this session, such as the vastness and depths of the Vedas and Upanishads that no amount of time is enough to understand them completely. Please give another round of applause for Mr. D.V. Chandrasekhar for at least exposing us to those few interesting points about the Taittiriya Upanishad. I would like to extend the thanks to all the sections of the Sri Sathya Sai Seva organizations for making this event happen today. With this, I just have a couple of announcements to make. Tomorrow we enter into the 4th day of the Navaratri celebrations here in Brindavan. And tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. onwards, we will have the Durga Saptashati Parayanam, followed by the Homam and Bhajans, which will conclude with Mangal Aarti by 9:30 a.m. The evening proceedings, like today, will begin at 4:15 with Vedam chanting and Lalita Sahasranama Parayanam, following which we will have another talk on the next Upanishad, which will again start at 5 p.m. and will conclude with bhajans and Mangalarti by 6 o'clock. So we request all the devotees to participate in large numbers with your friends and family. Let them all have this opportunity of listening to the glory of the Divine Lord. Sai Ram.